All right, let's go on to our running back situation. Our first start, we got your boy Kenneth Gainwell. This is kind of like an interesting one that you picked here for your start. This is the first one. I asked you beforehand, is this just a strictly PPR move or what?
Well, half point, believe it or not, Gainwell is the running back. Where is it? 24. So I mean,
Nice.
that's good. Miles Sanders is a running back 32. So I mean, he hasn't been playing as much as Miles Sanders, but he's been outperforming him. On 18 targets, Gainwell has 13 catches for 114 yards, which is solid, especially for a first-year guy.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders isn't too far behind. He has 11 for 105, but the difference is Gainwell has 2 rushing touchdowns. Miles Sanders hasn't scored at all season. And Gainwell's had 1 called back also. He could easily have 3, but if you just watch the game, I mean, he's in for no huddle offense. He's in the game for the 2-minute warning because he's so good out of the backfield as far as a receiver, which we talked about back, during draft. During the draft episode, he could have been a second-round wide receiver if he decided to declare that way, but he's just super explosive. I think he's going to be, integrated more and more into the offense, and he's coming off his highest snap percentage of the season. So,
Yeah, man.
little by little, but this is my dog.
And so you might think too, like the Panthers' defense is pretty stout. It's pretty good. But I will say, them rushing in, I could definitely see like some dump offs extra to Kenneth Gainwell for So especially in PPR leagues, I'm not mad at this as like what would you say, a flex play? Running back 3 flex play
for sure, because you can line him up as you could do like a shotgun. With a back and then motion him out. I mean, he is a matchup problem. He can run good routes also. So he had 8 targets last game, 6 catches. So
yeah,
and he wasn't even the starting running back, but he looks good. So
yeah, I like it. It's a pretty sneaky one. You could almost put this in our sleeper category, but you just fucking went with him for the start, baby.
He's a little bit he's been awoken. He's not sleeping anymore.
Yeah.
Coming off 18 fantasy points.
I love it. All right, let's go to Damien Harris. We got James White on the IR. We got talks Brandon Bolden here and JJ Taylor there. Dude, I freaking love the Patriots running back. Damien Harris, I'm a big Damien fan this weekend. They're playing
Damians.
The big thing too here is I think game script is like perfect in this game because I do think that the Patriots get ahead of the Texans pretty early, run the ball, control the clock. It's fucking Bill Belichick. That guy loves doing shit like that. I mean he doesn't hold back, but in some games. But when it comes down to it, this receiving core is not the craziest. It's a little bit better from previous years, but. I think Damien Harris is a guy here, and I think it's a solid start. Yeah, and honestly, he's probably a flex option for you. So
yeah,
I think the matchup is key, and if you can get him in your flex and fucking put up some major points, I think you're in a good spot here. So I love Damien Harris. Big Damien guy this weekend.
Big Damien. Your name's Damien. He's starting you.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree, dude. I mean, I just don't see the Patriots going 1-4. It just doesn't sound right. The Texans suck, so they can be 1-4. It's okay. That's probably what we thought they would be anyway. But especially how they just lost to the Bucs, I feel like he's just out to just destroy Davis Mills or whoever the hell's they put at quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They just lost 40-0 to the Bills. So
yeah. Yeah, I agree, dude. Damien Harris, I would do it also. Texans aren't very good.
Yeah. The game script is what I like a lot too.
For sure.
All right, let's go to your boy. Zack Moss. This is probably the one that we talked about in preseason. Zack Moss, I don't know, for whatever reason, he was just so far down, and now he's getting put in the same category as Chris Carson as running back tier for where Chris Carson was going in the second, third round. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I love third round probably. So Zack Moss, fucking sell the people, baby.
Dude, easy. So last 2 games, 4.85 yards a carry. But what was crazy to me is he's actually been better than Singletary out of the passing game. I mean, Singletary has 7 catches for 24 yards the whole season, which is crazy. Zack Moss sat the first game, and he has 5 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. At least he has a touchdown. But on top of that, in the 3 games he's played, he's averaged 14.4 fantasy points. That would put him ahead of DeAndre Swift, who has 14.3, and he's the number 7 running back right now in half-point PPR. So we're talking about a guy who's been a top 10 running back for 3 straight weeks, and he's playing 56% of snaps, Singletary 44. So it shows he doesn't need to be on the field as much. Like I said, I'm not a big person on snap percentage. I'm more like how many touches and opportunities you get, and he's getting right around that like 12 to 16, 17. But he's a goal line guy, as you can tell, like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Josh Allen will still get his, but not nearly as much with those carries with the QB. Zack Moss he took that step forward from last year. He looks good.
Yeah, totally.
Looks good.
And then, by the way, Chiefs, they play the Chiefs this week. Chiefs are allowing 23.5 fantasy points per game to the running back position, too. So that's
done.
Pretty horny.
And I could see this being a high-scoring game to where he's going to get at least one. So I could see him having another 15, 16-point game. And if you do that, I mean, I just traded him away in one of my leagues, but he's solid.
Because you can trade him up probably for, decent value actually now.
For sure. And I think it's only going to get more. His value's only going to get higher. Yeah, so totally. If you're going to do it now because, I think if he has another double-digit week, he can slide
trade
into
for
that.
Him, you mean?
Yeah. This will be the last week because, I mean, after this, I think he'll be like RB2. Yeah. Or like you can put him at your RB2 for sure. Flex though, depending on what kind of team you have.
Yeah, I'm full. Yeah,
but
it's nice. It's horny. It's nice, especially with all these injuries. David Montgomery, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of David Montgomery, let's go into
the
next Damien. Like I said, big Damien guy. We got Damien Williams playing for the Chicago Bears. David Montgomery is out. Which is a bummer, you know what I mean? It really does suck. I mean, I'm in a league where we have Christian McCaffrey and David Montgomery. Christian McCaffrey and David Montgomery. Yeah, so that's rough. That's me and Tyler's league.
Oof.
But yeah, so I think it's just kind of like a must start with the freaking Damien Williams. I think that he's just he's proven before that he can handle a big workload. I mean, depending on what's going on with Justin Fields and whoever they're gonna have at quarterback.
Yeah, right.
That's the only sketchy thing. But it's like these running backs kind of been the more consistent thing, besides like Darnell Mooney on the Bears. So I just love the opportunity he's about to have. He's gonna have a lot of touches this week, and Raiders are not the best against the run. They've allowed. They're middle tier. They're kind of like in the same area as the Chiefs. They're allowing 22 point fantasy points per game to the running back position. I think you get some receiving upside too with Damien Williams. Is there anything else you want to say on Damien? I think it's just I don't know. And if you're in a spot where you have David Montgomery, it's like if you're excited about David Montgomery, Damien Williams is just not as good, but he's right there.
I mean,
he handled the workload with Kansas City when he was there, so I like it.
Could have easily been Super Bowl MVP, as many would know, but yeah, averaged a little under 8.9 yards per carry last week, 2 targets, 2 catches. 70 yards in a tug with 2 catches. 14 points. Didn't even play a whole game, and like you said, he's used to carrying the load.
Yeah.
And they're going to need a running back for a rookie quarterback. Other than a tight end, a good run game's a rookie's best friend for sure. Keep the defense honest and not just, focusing on dropping guys back. If you can get them to, at least just focus on the run a little bit, that'll help out Fields. So,
yeah, definitely.
And it'll help another guy we're going to talk about soon.
Yeah, exactly.
While we're just doing it.
I think we're done on the running back situation. Okay, yeah. Hey, did you like that video? No, not the one of Big Ben completely eating shit when nobody even touched him. I'm talking about our fantasy football video we just did. You just watched. Well, guess what? That was just a clip from the full audio podcast. So if you want to check out the whole thing, links down below. AVG Fantasy Football, podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, all of them. Anywhere you can get audio podcasts, we're there. Go ahead and check it out. And if you don't want to look at your fantasy team to look the way Big Ben does right here, wait for it. Come on, replay. This is your fantasy team. But that won't be your fantasy team if you subscribe to AVG Fantasy Football. So go ahead, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to the channel and like.